Traders, Greg here with a market update. Okay, so this week so far in markets has started a lot quieter, and we've seen a little bit of calm come into the markets compared to what we saw last week. Because last week was obviously hugely volatile, a lot of chaos. If we look at the VIX index, last week we saw that spike up as high as 60. Now that VIX volatility fear index actually has dropped down to 30. So just to give you an idea of just how much the volatility has actually dropped since the end of last week. US equity markets so far in the last couple of days, haven't done a lot, are marginally positive. Having said that though, we got some headlines after the cash market closed in the US. And just before, we've seen the resumption of the futures market reopen. It was that the US government has banned Nvidia from selling H2O chips, 20 chips to China indefinitely. So Nvidia has basically come out and said that that's going to cost them about $5.5 billion off their Q1 earnings. So huge hit for Nvidia, and obviously a hugely negative headline. So we have seen the futures market in the equity space, Nasdaq obviously, reopen to 150 points lower, gap lower. And Nvidia shares in aftermarket are down around 6%, so not good. Okay, that was the negative headline we've had recently, but one headline that's probably worth noting is out of the White House. We did get some noise that apparently that they may be ready to announce up to 15 countries with trade deals. So no specific time when exactly those trade deals will be announced, but obviously it looks like they have been working very hard and they're close to some trade deals. No doubt, when those headlines come out at the margin, they're probably going to be positive because no doubt the reciprocal tariffs that those countries initially were imposed on them are going to be much lower. So that is something you've for traders trading equities and in the market at the moment, you've got to be wary of that. If you get too short, too bearish, all of a sudden these headlines come out, they're positive, and then up we go again. But dangerous markets at the moment is the key takeaway, right? We're still very nervous and very stressed markets. Okay, bond market at the moment, that was a huge focus last week, and it was a big stress on the market last week when we saw US 30-year yields up at 5% and also US 10-year yields up at 4.6%, at danger levels. So far this week we've seen a decent turnaround from those highs we saw last week. US 30-year yields now around about 4.7%, so they're about 30 basis points off those highs, and US 10-year yields as well, around about 4.3% at the moment, so also about 30 basis points off those highs. So that has taken a lot of stress out of the current market. Having said that, we are still in obviously volatile markets. You've got to keep an eye on what is going on with these bond yields. Obviously, we've talked about this before. If they go up, not good for risk, not good for equities. But if we do see those bond yields continue to go south, that again is going to take stress out of the market and be a positive. So keep an eye on bond yields. Very important to do that at the moment. On the currency front, obviously we have seen a lot of US dollar selling. We've seen the dollar index, trade below 100, back at 100. It is at a very important psychological level, technical level, and so at the moment we haven't seen a decisive break below 100, but we certainly haven't seen the dollar index base off 100 again and trade higher. So the jury is still out on what's going on with the US dollar, but again, it is a big focus for the market at the moment as well. On the commodity front, gold is obviously one of the best performing markets and commodities globally, It has reopened in Asia just below record highs at 32.45-ish. Obviously, it's every time we get some negative news and uncertainty in the market, and then on the back of that Nvidia news, it's open and it's gone straight back up. Look, breaking those record highs again. It's obviously bullish. No doubt, maybe the next sort of targets market will be looking for is up towards 3,300. So yes, gold is bid again, opening here in Asia at the moment. Now this today there is a couple of things on the docket. We do have a Bank of Canada rate decision. Market is split on what's going to happen here. Yesterday they did have some good inflation data that was actually came out below expectations. It looks like they are well and truly on the path of 2% inflation, which obviously the Bank of Canada is targeting. So yes, 50-50 split with the market, coin flip on whether or not they're going to cut rates from 2.75 down to 2.5%. So if you're trading the Canadian dollar, obviously you've got to be focused here. There are some retail sales numbers out of the US. Those monthly numbers are supposed to come out quite strong, above 1%. Look, normally, that is something that would be seen as a positive. But at the moment, market really isn't focused too much or trading the data. And a lot of the data, I guess, market is looking in the rearview mirror on the data, just for the simple fact is that it's still very uncertain how the tariff policy and the tariffs that have been implemented and will be implemented is going to affect all of that data in months to come. Lastly, tonight, very importantly, we do hear from Fed's Powell speaking. He actually speaks a couple of hours before the market close, so late into the session. Look, one of the things that Powell has obviously been watching markets, obviously been watching closely what's been happening in the bond market in particular. That would be probably one of his main worries. He'd want to be making sure that those bond yields don't keep spiking and getting them lower. So look, every time we do see the central bankers, especially the Fed governor, speak after such big volatility, these guys choose their words very, very carefully. And they generally tell the market what they want to hear. Certainly, he's not going to want to add to the volatility. So I dare say that when Powell speaks, it's probably going to be risk positive for the markets. So that is something to watch out for later on tonight. That is obviously very important. So good luck with your trades today, and we will check back in with you again shortly.